Good, because I didn't like the way that I set that up anyway. Made it too much about me. All right, so
Take 3.
all right. Welcome to the Marinade, a free-flowing conversation about the creative process with creative people. Each episode, we welcome musicians, actors, comedians, authors, visual artists, filmmakers, anyone who creates art to talk about how and why we make stuff. You fuckers figure it out. Filmmaker Tommy Nickoloff is our guest for episode 211 episodes, y'all. Thank you so much. Tommy grew up with legendary songwriter Jason Molina in Lorain, Ohio, in a strike of what I would call kismet, married with genius. Nickoloff set out to make a film about his friend, and the results are a must-watch for fans of Molina, fans of great documentaries, fans of music, or just good stories. Y'all, if you've listened to the Marinade at all, really, probably, you know that Jason Molina is one of my all-time favorite songwriters. Top 5 probably for me. Tommy coming into my life to talk about Molina was fate so far as I'm concerned. And in a way, even though I never met Jason Molina, I feel like I've gotten to know him through my connection to Tommy. You fuckers listen and figure out whether I'm right. Everyone, it is a pleasure to bring you my conversation with Tommy Nickoloff.
My soul has its deepest state.
That is easy. It's a lot better than Nickelback, you know what I'm saying? He's never heard that joke before. Doesn't hear it every fucking day. All right. Tommy.
What's up, Jason?
Chilling, dude. Thanks for doing this. I'm really, really excited to talk with you. And I want to start with, like, the nature of how we ended up in this living room right now.
What was it, 2 days ago? Maybe 3?
Sunday, I think I got an email from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so, you know, with
This
this
is
film,
Friday for everybody listening.
Yeah, so
The
5
yeah,
days?
5 days ago, yeah.
That's still pretty quick turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I spend a lot of time on social media with this film,
Yeah.
and so I try to see it as like actually community building instead of like I'm gonna get some likes today, right?
Yeah.
So I try to check out anyone that likes or follows. I see what they're doing, and if they're doing something cool and they don't have a private page, I follow them.
Yeah.
And I try to check out as many things as possible. So I caught like your most recent episode. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then, like I said, just with and you were talking about like optimism for younger kids and the future of art and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, I'm down with this. And checked out a couple things, looked at the list of people that you've interviewed. Like Ben Nichols was one that stood out. And
Yeah.
then I found out, then I saw something that you were from Kentucky.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, this is perfect because the 2 screenings are coming up in West Virginia, world premieres in Athens, Ohio, and it's all that kind of regional thing. And then we got in touch, and I find out you're in Orlando, and I was at a family reunion in Key Largo dropping friends off in Orlando today. So here we are.
Man, it's so great. It's so great. It's the spirit of why I do the Marinade. It's the spirit of why I make art in general. It sounds like there's a similar feel for you. Just like we talked a little bit off mic about community.
Right.
And I'm interested in the impetus for this film, and I know that there's a lot there.
Yeah.
But like thinking about community, you know, you're from Lorain. You're from where Jason's from. You knew Jason.
Right.
Can you talk just kind of about what inspired you to get to this place where you're making this film about your childhood friend?
So there was, since I'll go with the community angle first.
Yeah.
because when we grew up in still a booming steel town, a booming manufacturing town. Ford plant was huge. Through shovel, the shipyards, the steel mill, like everybody had a job, everybody was doing well. All you needed was a high school education. But that was it was a natural expectation to have of the next generation coming up, us being Gen Xers. But as all that was dying, when George Steinbrenner took the shipyards out of Lorain, Ohio, I mean, that was like a major crux. And then, steel production went down, and we started buying cars from Japan and all these things. And like all the Buy America stuff that we hear about so often now, where was that in 1985?
Right.
Yeah. And then at the same time, with such a blue collar work ethic, there was no one gave two shits about art. It just didn't fit anywhere. I mean, if people were musicians, they maybe played in a Croatian colo band or in a Mexican mariachi band. It was all ethnic related. So Jason and Carl Raponi and Todd Jacobs and originally Dave Williams, when Jay was still in high school at that time, had a metal band, Chronic Insanity. And then by the time we were all in high school together, they had kind of like a punk metal crossover band, the Spine Riders. And there weren't many people doing that at all. And I think that now we've got, Javon Terrence has had a fashion design shop downtown Lorain on Broadway for 20 years now. Like, a friend of mine that I played soccer with when we were kids, John Baumgartner, his film Beneath the Light is out and doing really well. I think it hit number 6 overall on Amazon recently. Oh, wow. About the Lorain Lighthouse. So, wow. There's so many people doing cool things. My friends at AKA and Company, shout out Fabian. Like, they're a great band. They're playing around, and recording in Cleveland, and it's just been great. So when moving back home, all these other things are going on, and I'm actually thinking, like, I'm going to make the first movie in Lorain ever, right? That's not how it happened. Because all these other things started happening. So even reading a book, dude, as a kid in the 80s, even reading a book it would get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Like anything that had to do with anything other than working and like keeping up like this kind of tough attitude and persona was going to get you ridiculed. And that's changing now. And I think if Jay were here, he would talk about that too. That's why he wanted to get out of there so badly. And I got so lucky to go back there and see all this already underway, and then getting to play a role as an old guy coming in and, try and help out here and there. It was, that was a huge bonus that I didn't expect.
So what do you think? We've been talking. You and I've been talking about, and off mic. And I've been talking about community constantly on this show and on anywhere that people will listen. Yeah. What do you think is happening in Lorain that now you have your film and the other guys get the film on Amazon and these bands are happening, like, and you're not getting your ass whipped for reading a book, hopefully. Like, what is going on? I'd be in a full body cast, I think, if I got ass whipped for reading books. What do you think is happening?
Well, everything's been gone for so long. I mean, the steel mill's been shut down for 25 years now, shut down. And so, I think older generations, it's so easy to put down younger generations and have, and I'm saying younger generation is me being one at 54 compared to baby boomers, right?
Sure.
Like still to this day.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
But when you don't have the same access, you don't have the same opportunities, they will never admit this, but socialism helped the baby boomers a lot, and they've been against it for everybody else ever since.
Yeah.
Just simply the GI Bill. right? As racist as that was in so many aspects, excluding people for being African American or whatever, that's how people got educations and bought homes in the 50s and 60s and 70s, right? So I think now it's like we're far enough removed from seeing that prosperity, so something has to replace it. So I think, but with younger people today, people my age, Jason and his music, like that Rust Belt grit and that blue collar work ethic are still pertinent characteristics, right? So you can still use that, like keep that heritage, but then go do whatever you want instead of what you're expected to do. And there's a huge world of difference between expectations and what you feel called to, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you have to do something, you know? Life is get busy living or get busy dying. And then the weird thing, like my buddy Pat O'Connor is a filmmaker, and I think he summarizes this best, is seeing Eraserhead, seeing David Lynch's Eraserhead was the first thing that seeing that on film. It's a beautiful film with but it's not a beautiful environment, but there's beauty there's in that somehow still. And that's how Pat started seeing Home, right? So you don't have to see it as Jason once put it, burned out shipbuilding and steel making town in a bad way. Like the steel mill's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It must be in the film 8 times, right? It's fascinating. It's a behemoth.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's beauty to be found everywhere, you know?
Yeah. Is that for you? And we'll get to the fact that this is your first film and you are 54 years old, which is inspiring in so many ways. I'm thinking about that a lot at this stage in my life and the things that I'm doing. My debut record's about to come out. I'm 45.
Hell yeah.
You know, I think for me, a lot of what has allowed me to get to where I am creatively at the moment and this, what I consider an incredibly fertile creative period of my life, is severalfold. One is just getting to the age where I'm like just making the thing and not worrying about how it's received, right? Not worrying about whether I'm good enough, and just doing the thing that I think held me back from making stuff.
Excuse me.
That held me back from making stuff, especially music before. And I think the second is just a absolute need. Like, I have to do this right now. There's an urgency.
Yeah, compulsion.
For you, seeing the beauty in the steel mill, seeing the beauty in the town, after having been away for a long time too, right? Like you were in Savannah for a long time. You had a whole career. And now here we are at this stage in your life making this film. Like, is there something happen? Bucket leave it. Bucket leave it.
Get a little ball shot there.
Is there something? Come here. Is there something happening? Do you think in your life that steadied you or got you ready or prepared you for this moment creatively?
I mean, unfortunately, it took my entire life to get to this point. But you know, Jason was, I think it's fair to say, like my biggest supporter as kids in terms of art. Like, you know, we used to trade drawings and poems and whatever we wrote and just make up weird words. And, you know, like even as he was 14, I was 16, and like we were already interested in like Dada, for example, you know, like things like this. And like not the kind, we were interested in the kind of stuff that gets your ass kicked. But it was, you know, it was funny and it was fun. And, you know, we talk about Ned Ludd and the Luddites and the Industrial Revolution on a soccer bus where we're trading cassette tapes. Let me try and circle back to what the hell was your question?
I'm asking what, like, because what got you, like, what's happening in your life that got you to
Well, so back then he would like, if I would talk about like, oh man, I'm trying to do this and it's not working out, or I just can't make this person happy. His advice was always, just be an artist, dude. Like, just be an artist. You're an artist. Just be an artist. Like not make art, right? Not try to be an artist, like just be an artist. And, you know, over time we would back and forth, like in and out of each other's lives. And I hadn't seen him since 2002. So when Jason died in 2013, even if I wasn't doing what he expected of me, like I would hear his voice. I would draw, I would do things, but I wasn't being an artist, right? I wasn't living my life as one. And so with his voice being gone from like this world, it like amplified in the other. I don't know how to really put it other than that.
Wow.
And along with I mean, we all know we're all going to die, right?
Well, I think about it constantly.
But when you lose a friend at 39 who, in everyone's eyes that you know, even if they don't like his music, everybody from home is on top of the fucking world, right? It just makes that all the more palpable, right? Because it's not a concept anymore.
Yeah.
Like it just happened. And that's going to happen to you, and that's going to happen to me. So what was I waiting for? You know? And so that was a huge impetus. And I mean, even from then, like my life just started getting better. Like my anxiety started getting better. My depression started getting better. And then we were having a family reunion in Lorain, and my cousin Christy just called me. I sent all my cousins leave the city because so many people at home don't know anything about Jason. It's crazy.
That's pretty wild. Yeah.
It's changing now. Like just doing screenings of the film with friends, like so many more people are listening to his music, which I think is amazing.
That's
and they're
cool.
loving it, you know?
Yeah.
And then Christy just said, dude, why are we not making a documentary about Jason Molina? And I said, I'll give you a call in about an hour. She said, what are you going to do? And I'm calling Carl Raponi. I'm calling Todd Jacobs. I'm calling my ex-wife, Jenny. And just let's see if anybody's interested. And I chatted with all those people for probably an hour. And I mean, we started immediately, November 1st, 2021. Man. It just started.
Hold on. Okay, so it just started as a wild and incredibly exciting thing, right? It just started. But you hadn't made a film.
No.
Okay, so like what are you leaning on then? Like did you have a plan? Was it sketched out in your head or are you just doing?
No, just did it.
Wow.
I mean, it's
because before you answer, just because I haven't seen the whole thing, but I've seen the trailer and I've seen the first few minutes of it, right? And it looks really well done, right? It's like I'm captivated immediately. The trailer just like makes me like shiver. Awesome. I'm so excited, right? Thank you. And then the opening, it's just like, oh fuck, give me more, give me more, Tommy, right? So it feels like something that, to me, the way my brain works in terms of organizing ideas, it feels like something that like was clearly outlined and scaffolded, and to just go do the thing is wild. So can you talk about how that worked?
I mean, legit, we just started, and you know, big help. My cousin Christy is director of photographer. Christy Walker, she lives out in San Diego. Ever since she's had a career, she's had a camera in her hand. And before that too, you know, just traveling around. So that's a huge advantage, right? She shot music videos and she's done a few mini documentaries and things like that. So very helpful to have someone on your team of two that has some very good idea about what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then it very quickly, all the disparate things that I've done career-wise in my life somehow magically made me a producer, which is what people really don't like. I want to be a director, right? Or I want to be an actor, or even I want to be an editor. Like it seems like nobody wants to produce. But I've been making spreadsheets my whole life, you know. I've been in sales and talked to people and asked for things and try and get help and put together a plan. And so that was second nature. Everyone in the film was so willing to do it, and I knew so many of them already. Yeah. Even if and so many old friendships got rekindled. So many acquaintances have become friends, and then I even got to, you know, meet new people that are great friends. Will Schaff, for example, you know, and I definitely met Jeff and Bruce Cummings, who were in the 1988 or 1998 Songs Ohio version. I don't know, it's hard to say. Jason switched personnel around a lot, right?
Yeah.
But Max Winter was also in that lineup. And first time I met Max, he came in from Berlin to visit friends in Providence, and Christy and I went to Warren, Rhode Island, where Will Schaff's foreclosure is. Met Max for a couple of beers in Providence. Next thing you know, we got 2 cameras on him the next day, and we're interviewing him at the fort. You know, it was just like bam.
Yeah.
I had never met Millicent Soros. She went to Oberlin College with all those guys. She's a fan favorite, just like she does so well with everybody. I mean, she cracks people up. People laugh at just her wry, direct humor. Because we didn't have kid gloves with each other then, right? Like we grew up in a great place that was really tough to grow up in. So everybody's giving shit to everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We weren't polite to each other. If it's your friend that you trust, you're gonna give them a hard time, right?
Yeah.
And that, you know, I'm so excited that comes out in the film, because through that shit talking, you know that there's love in it, you know, even when you're making fun of your friend, like that's how you know.
Well, it's interesting because, okay, that answers like a question that I had, which was, again, haven't seen the whole thing, but the clips that I've seen, the pieces that I've seen, it seemed like as someone who does a lot of interviewing and having conversations with people, there's definitely an art to that. And I can just tell by the answers people are giving you that they're getting really good, thoughtful questions. Is some of that just like that you had that rapport with people?
For whatever reason, everybody just trusted me. And, you know, every one of those interviews, maybe a phone call or two. I hadn't seen the Cummings brothers since the 90s, mid-90s in Oberlin, right? But, you know, we started, as soon as I talked to the Spine Riders, which really sucked, November 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. If not, it was the third Mr. Molina passed away, Jason's dad. So that put a big stop, you know, on that. But, I mean, having moved back to the Lorain area, I'm like right across the street from Lorain and Amherst. I asked Ashley, like we talked on the phone. I'm like, can we meet for a cup of coffee? And she's like, yeah, I got about a half an hour. And I think we sat at a Starbucks for 2 hours plus, you know, and then a bunch of like late 80s, early 90s hip hop came on. And then we're goofing. I was like, holy shit. Like last time I saw her, she was 8.
Oh, wow.
Or 9, right? I was like, oh, I have a new friend.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it went, you know? And that speaks to everyone's generosity and openness. And they didn't do that for me. They did that for Jay, you know? And I was just lucky enough that they trusted me and they trusted Christy, and she's got, you know, she has a great rapport behind the camera that goes a long way. You know, you can't just film someone or shoot someone. They have to trust you. And whatever we did, apparently it worked.
Dude, that's amazing. What about like from a, you know, and a composition standpoint and sort of like the choices that you're making? Like the beginning of the film, there's an incredible shot, like overhead shot coming down on a tree. Like, is when you're making those choices, like where does that come from? That ability or that understanding come from?
So to circle back a little bit earlier, there was no framework for this film. We just shot 15 interviews. And then started reviewing footage and reading transcripts. And then looked for, like, is there a story here? And another thing with those, I think the average interview is probably 4 hours long.
Wow.
Like people were very patient.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So it's like, let's go through this again, or like, and sometimes even ask the same question later when it makes sense, And then we learned. Each interview taught us about. Oh, this was a good question. Just ask the same question and see if it's if you get the same answer.
Yeah.
Because initially, and hesitantly so, I thought I would be a kind of a major player in this film. I think I'm in it for maybe 20 seconds.
Uh-huh.
But it's such an exciting discovery. Our memories and our perceptions are so individual.
Mm.
I didn't know if anybody was going to remember Jay like I did.
Yeah.
Right? And then they all told the story for me. And I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
I'm not Orson Welles.
Right.
I'm not Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
If you're not those guys, don't be in your own movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was just trust and generosity. And then, without saying too much about it, but, Jason was always into legend and mythology and moons and owls and wolves and ghosts. And he wrote plenty of songs about that. And I mean, if you've seen the trailer, you'll get a little,
yeah,
you'll get a little hint about what happens in the interviews.
And if you're listening to this and you haven't seen the trailer, pause this and go watch the trailer.
Yeah, YouTube at YFFIO.
Well, and I think that's part of what this gets to the mortality question. A huge part of what I connect with about Jason Molina's music. And another wonderful thing that I think is so great about all this is that you reached out to me and did not know I was like a super fan.
Not a clue.
That's so funny. But yeah, I've been listening. I was trying to think of when I got introduced to his music. My guess is it was something in the Pandora algorithm, whenever I first opened a Pandora account, which was whenever Pandora started, you know. And I was probably listening to some sort of alt country thing, and it probably went from Lucero to Slobberbone to something else. And then eventually I landed on Molina and I went, whoa, this. And I think there's so much that I could say about his music, but one of the things that I really connect with is the lore, the ghosts, the moons, the wolves, all that stuff, because I think for me, as someone who really struggles with my mortality and really struggles with anxiety around mortality and processing death, it's comforting to me to think at least, or hope maybe, that there are ghosts. I've never been scared of ghosts.
Yeah.
I do believe I've encountered them.
Yeah.
I've actually felt less anxiety in those situations than I have when I'm just processing death or mortality outside of some sort of connection, or at least what I'm perceiving as a connection to it.
Right.
He was a grounding, and continues to be through his music.
Yeah.
He is a grounding for me in mortality.
Huh. Wow.
And I wonder if you can relate to that at all, or if you process his music in that way, or even just having known the guy as a kid,
My relationship with his music, like, for so many years, I started experiencing, as long as I can remember, I can kind of tag 7 years old is when depression started for me. So I didn't really need Jason's help, like with his weight and his depth musically, right? So, it's really only been since making this film that I really dove into it.
Oh,
To
interesting.
be totally honest with you, because I couldn't. It was hard for me to listen to, because everybody would talk about, oh man, this is like, this song makes me feel so low, or this song makes me feel this way. I'm like, yo, I feel like I'm jumping out of an airplane every time I get out of bed in the morning. I don't need help with the low vibe, right? So it's almost a mirror image, right? It wasn't helpful for me. And I'm not saying I didn't buy his albums. I'm not saying I didn't go to his shows, but Jay was my homie.
Yeah.
It didn't have much to do with his music, frankly, except for the fact that he was doing it.
Yeah.
And that was so inspirational to see somebody break out of a dying steel town, dead already at that point, like go out in the world and play shows in New Zealand and Turkey, you know, even like Lexington, Kentucky was like, shit, yeah, Jay made it to Kentucky, right? And then it just went from there, London and everywhere.
Yeah.
So likewise, then talking about the ghosts and moons and what, like, for me, I'm not going to say that this is where it's coming from, but the way I can see that is like, it's all Dungeons and Dragons, dude. Like, I think that's it kind of has to be a big influence. Like, the Dungeons and Dragons was huge in the 80s. Everything was orcs and goblins and wolves and hydras and, you know?
Yeah.
And it has to, I would say it's got to at least be a part of that.
That's so interesting. I do wonder, a quick aside, like I wonder how, because Dungeons and Dragons was also something that the church was very against, and like I was, my family was heavy into the Baptist church, and the Southern Baptist church, so I wasn't allowed to play it as a kid, and I played once, you know, so that's interesting because I think if I did see it, I wouldn't recognize it a lot of times. And the things that people have told me about world building and about characters from their experiences with Dungeons and Dragons, some of that stuff wouldn't hit me. So I would process it differently by listening to it, because I'm coming at it with a completely different lens, because it was banned. You know, I wasn't allowed because it was from the devil.
That was happening with Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
At the same time, it was the same thing with heavy metal. And then right behind that, it was with hip hop.
Yeah.
Oh, kids love this. It's got to be terrible for them.
Yeah. But the difference was, it was, the other stuff was from Satan. Hip hop was made by black people, so they were the devil, you know, to the communities that I grew up in, at least.
But nothing sold a record more than an explicit.
Oh man, yeah, hell yeah. Those shows, like getting to see Jason play, you know, I never got to see him live. I mean, I guess by the time I was really starting to heavily listen, Bucket, leave it, bud. Heavily listen to his music. Hey, bud. Hey. What are you doing?
Bucket timeout.
Good, because I didn't like the way that I set that up anyway. Made it too much about me. All right, so
take 3.
All right, so we are rolling. All right, cool. I never got to see him live, but it was something that I followed, and unfortunately, really started to follow him fairly close to his passing. So. I never got to see him play a show. What were those shows like, and what was like sort of the evolution of the Jason Molina live experience like?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever, going back to 1987 probably, which would be the year before Jay and I met. That was like, so he was still in junior high, and I would have been sophomore in high school. And then like Todd Jacobs and Carl Raponi would have been freshmen. So like we're just all like coming into high school. I don't know if I ever saw them, because I think Jason played bass in an Admiral King High School talent show as a junior high kid. That must be the case. It has to be. I think it has to be that. Maybe he was a freshman. But other than that, like, it would be in someone's garage, you know? Like, my dad had a construction company. I would, like, sneak into my dad's warehouse, and I'd have a party. And like, there was Mike McCartney's band, before he was with the Spine Riders, I think, maybe it was with the Spine Riders at that point in time, had a band called the Sneezing Weasels. And they were, like, so Mike is kind of the one that carried the other guys from metal into punk, right? And so a friend, Mark Kroll's dad, I think he had an auto shop. So Friday night, party at their garage, bands are set up. So like, that's what it was. And it was just a bunch of, you know, 14 to 17-year-old high school kids drinking Milwaukee's Best and smoking terrible weed and cigarettes. You know? And then, you know, so getting out of Lorain to Jay was Oberlin College, which is 12, 15 miles down the road. Like
Ah.
it's right there.
Yeah.
And they're completely different worlds.
Yeah.
There's aside from being in Ohio, like, there's not very much. It's a very well known, one of the most reputable music schools in the world.
Yeah.
It's very much it's like an Ivy League level school in Lorain County.
Mm-hmm.
To go all the way downtown, 15, 18 miles from a steel mill that hasn't been touched in 20, and Oberlin has never not been vibrant in that sense.
Mm.
So, so by the time Jay's in college and I would come back from college, like I go to the coffee shop because you can read a book there and not get your ass kicked. And, sometimes I knew he was playing and I would go. Sometimes I would just show up and there he is.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes it was just him and a ukulele, which was
so
like,
wild.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
What are you doing, dude? Like, I thought you were going to... I came here to hear you sing some punk rock. I thought you were on bass. Like going through that. And then trying to get... Then, meanwhile, like, I wasn't hip to Palace Records and Will Oldham and all that kind of stuff that was going on. I was still a Van Halen fan and a Beastie Boys fan and all this kind of stuff. So I just wasn't even aware of any of this because that was kind of... Will Oldham was a pretty huge influence on Jason,
But I think people need to understand too, like if you're listening to this and you don't like those guys now, I think at least in certain circles are these luminaries, right?
Right.
But like finding out about Will Oldham back then wouldn't have been, he wasn't like on the cover of Rolling Stone, right? He wasn't even on the back page probably. Like that was a different way of, that time period is so fascinating to me. And I know for me, who came to it that kind of stuff later, it was such a fun hunt for me.
Yeah.
Like finding that new band, like discovering Molina was a huge moment for me. Discovering some of these, even Lucero, getting into Lucero in the early 2000s, like some of these bands, there wasn't an Instagram, there wasn't. I'm one of my Life's Greatest Hits, my other podcast, my friend Jordan Foley and I put out our favorite releases every Friday, right?
Oh, right
so
on.
you can follow that account and there's 10 bands that maybe you've never heard of that you can immediately get hip to.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of folks that do that kind of thing, right? We're not the only ones. We didn't invent that. Right. But back then, like, those guys were big in a certain world, but at the same time, like, they were making this out there music that wasn't necessarily ready, mainstream ready, but they had these cult followings. And I don't know, I just wanted to add that like editorial just because I think it's so exciting to be in that moment where Jason Molina is playing a ukulele at a coffee shop.
Right. Completely unrelated to any expectations.
Yeah.
Like I think the first time I think I knew he was playing and I was home. And so I went home to Lorain for the weekend or whatever it was, or Thanksgiving break, who knows. And so, I'm expecting Jason on bass. I'm expecting Todd Jacobs on guitar. Jason's playing a ukulele, or I don't think it was a 4-string guitar at that time, and singing, right? He wasn't a singer. I didn't know he was a singer.
And he wasn't really a songwriter before either, was he? Was he writing songs like when he was in
I
high
think he and Mike McCartney, I think, were the two main drivers behind songs. And then certainly by that time, like I would have to imagine he'd already been doing it. It's just nobody knew about it. Right. So Jay's not on bass. He's on guitar and he's singing. Todd's the guitarist. He's on drums. And then like some other guy who I still can't figure out who it was is on bass. And I'm like, where's Raponi? Like, he's supposed to be on drums. This guy isn't even supposed to be here. Like,
yeah.
Where are the spine riders? And that had to be 1992.
Oh, wow. Okay.
3?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. And then we'd go visit him, and we talk about this. It's actually a pretty funny scene when it gets talked about in the film. But I can remember there being, going to house parties, and there would be 250 people on the lawn, in the house, on the balcony, on the roof. And, Jay'd just grab a guitar, his ukulele, and start singing.
That's amazing.
Went his house.
Yeah.
Wasn't his party. Maybe 85% of the people didn't give a shit about it, or they were so used to it that they couldn't possibly care. Right?
Yeah.
But he was relentless, And I never called him Sparky. I've never called him that, but that's certainly, if you've read Aaron Osmond's book, a lot of the people in the film, like Bruce Cummings, exclusively refers to Jason as Sparks.
Yeah.
But it's not a surprise. I mean, it's a very high energy, high intensity force, which is stands in pretty stark contrast to how people interpret his music, right? In terms of tone, and so it's weird.
Well, it's also interesting given what you've told me about some of sort of the guy that you knew versus the guy you read about in Aaron Osmond's book, which is wonderful, everybody. If you're interested in the subject matter, dive into that too. But we were talking about how the last half of that book, or at least the last third, is really heavy and incredibly difficult to read. I almost didn't make it through.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the guy.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile all of that? Like the idea of this guy that you grew up with and you knew, and then the music that we all know, and then I know you chose not to include that part necessarily in the film, but how did you process all of that?
That whole reading Aaron's book, Riding with a Ghost, was like reading about some other person that last third, and it was really hard to get through that. And it's difficult to say historical fact when it comes to Jason because he did play a little loose, and so who knows, even if someone is being totally honest and representing their way of what did or didn't happen, maybe that's something that he told them, and then that's the way they remember it that way. But I think she did, Aaron did a phenomenal job with that book, but it was like an alien experience.
Interesting.
Because none of us knew what he was going through. And I wasn't, as I said before, I was a fan of Jason. I wasn't buying every record. I wasn't following everything that he did. So, so you're picking up on things like posts about what he's going through. I didn't have a clue, dude.
That's so interesting.
And just about nobody from home did. So I did, whatever it was. So March 16th, 2013, I think it was maybe a couple days later. Because meanwhile, I'm living in Savannah. St. Patrick's Day is a huge thing, right? And so I feel like it wasn't until the 18th. I think it was after the parade and all that kind of stuff. And I was drinking a cup of coffee, having a cigarette in my window in my place in Savannah. And my mom called me, and she's like, something's going on with Jason Molina. I was like, what's up? She's like, oh, I don't really know. And it's like, okay, well, keep me posted. Have you talked to him? I haven't talked to him in years. And I walked down to the bar, and my friend Andrew Walker's working there. And I opened the door, and I'm like, oh, shit, dude. That's Jason. He's like, oh, that's Songs of High or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that's Jason Molina. He's like, how do you know? And I go, he's my homie. He's like, bro, he died.
Holy shit.
I was like, fuck. I just got, mom, tipped me off, just through the mom network. Because Jason's mom had already passed by that time. But it's still, a small town, connected town, right? So, and I don't think that... So it must have been at least, when Secretly Canadian put out word, I think that was, it was several days after, if I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was wild, dude.
And as I remember it, Secretly Canadian was where I was going to get updates, and they were update. This is, who knows, memory again.
Right.
You know, memory is such a wild thing. That's how I remember it, is that I would go to the website for updates once I found out that he was going through something.
Yeah.
And I'm almost positive they, we can try to go research this at some point, but like I'm almost positive they were posting updates about like that he wasn't doing well, that he was going through some health problems. And I remember just not knowing anything other than I love this man's music, and not, you know, not understanding anything other than that, because I didn't know anything about the man or anything like that. But, and of course, like all the connections of all the other bands, like, you know, Will Johnson's one of my all-time favorite musicians, and Will's been on the Marinade, and we talked a little bit about Jason.
Right on.
Yeah, I was gonna send it to you.
Yeah.
I've been so fucking busy, and I was like, I gotta send Tommy the Will Johnson interview.
Oh, yeah,
this was years
definitely check
ago.
it out.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
man.
a huge moment. That poster we talked about, I actually showed him that poster. You can see that it's Will Hogan, Jason Isbell, and then Centromatic was the guest. And it doesn't have, this is a misprint of a poster.
Oh, no shit.
And that I bought here in Orlando, because it was a show in Orlando, and they were just selling it at a market. Some like, graphic designer or whatever, poster maker was selling like these misprints for $5 or whatever. And I saw that. I didn't actually go to that show, but I was able to show Will the poster, and he remembered exactly when it was, and he told me a story about it. But during that it was really cool. But during that conversation, I got to talk to him a little bit about making the record that they made, which is one of my favorite records of all time. Like, it's one of the most, it's one of the ones that I go back to the most. There was a period of time I wrote probably at least one song that's going to be on my EP. I wrote 5 or 6 songs during a period where I was almost exclusively listening to Jason Molina and Will Johnson, because there's so much there. To me, there's so much overlap, not only on the record, of course, that they made together, but just their music in general and the way they approach sounds and their approach to songwriting. But there's a couple of songs that are just so heavily influenced, by those guys. You said to me that something to the effect of like Jason's passing saved your life.
Oh, yeah.
Can you, like, in what way?
Well, so, I mentioned like how Jason always encouraged his friends to make art. Yeah. And that would, every time I saw him, didn't matter if it was 2 weeks since the time prior or 3 years since the time prior. Making any art? What are you drawing? What are you working on? I was like, God damn it, dude, nothing. Just going to work and paying my bills.
Yeah.
Or trying to get through school or whatever it was. But it was constant. And by no stretch of the imagination was it just me. My friend Riley, he's out in Seattle. He's in the film, and Riley, right? He would tell me the same thing. He's like, I hated disappointing him, because he'd always be like, "What are you writing? You should write this. I remember this idea. Write this." And just like, God damn, Jay, just kind of get off my back. I already feel bad for not doing it. Yeah. And now I'm disappointing you on top of it, right? But that's also, I never thought about this, but that's still kind of like not that Jay grew up Catholic, but it's like this Catholic guilt, blue collar, like that's how we were motivated. That is kind of a home thing. Is like, no, I have these expectations of you and you're not doing it. And not that Jay would be like, I'm so disappointed in you, but you could feel it. And that was worse.
Yeah.
It was worse to know that he was being nice to you and that you knew you were disappointing him. And I know secondhand at least a half a dozen people that had that relationship with him, right? That just constantly pushing, like, you're a writer, you're supposed to be writing, you're a painter, but you're not painting, right? Just be an artist. Whatever your thing is, just do it. And I just, I never did until this film. I never did.
Do you feel, I hope this question comes out right. Are you able to go now that the film is done, are you able to go, yeah, I'm a filmmaker?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Because that's an interesting question. Because, like, I know for me as a songwriter, it took me a long time after I'd written a lot of songs
Yeah.
and performed them to go, oh, I'm a songwriter.
Yeah.
So, like, what was that process like for you? Were you struggling with imposter syndrome? Were you, like, comfortable?
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get in it.
There's no question.
Yeah.
But even things like these totally abstract, I don't even know what to call them, illustrations, but like, I came back to Lorain. I'm just meeting up with a bunch of these guys, my homie Josh, JC, and we're like kind of in this little collective. And I'm just working on the film. And I still had a job at that time, and I'm trying to do my job, and I'm making art whenever, just doing these drawings whenever. And it's like, dude, let's get a couple bands. Spinewriters had just gotten back in the studio, put in an EP. I did the album art for them.
Cool.
And like, guys, let's have a show. And so another holographic throne, local Lorain kids and Spinewriters playing. We just all got together and I made a poster. And I'm like, you sell your T-shirts, you show your fashion, you play your music, you do this, you show your paintings. Like, let's do this. And they're like, well, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'll have an art show. So I just, right? So it's
Hell yeah.
all through our stuff on the walls and set up whatever and had a couple bands and we packed the house and had a great time. And it was, I think that was the first show the Spinewriters had played since the 90s.
Wow.
And that was maybe 2023.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the thing we're talking about, though. The community and the encouragement. That's another thing that I'm running into. Oh, sorry, Bubba. That I hope you're feeling too. And it sounds like you are. It sounds like you've gotten a lot of encouragement along the way in the making of the film, and it sounds like you're getting reinforcement that the work that you've done is good. Now that you're done, is that true, or were there naysayers? Were there roadblocks from other people, haters?
I don't think haters, but self-doubt is the first hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's imposter syndrome after that.
Mm-hmm.
Then is anyone gonna give a shit about this?
Yeah.
Which I think you just have to ignore entirely because it's not a valid question.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just make it. And I just reposted something from Bjork yesterday or the day before, and she's like, you can't make anything. If you make something for someone else, it's never going to be good.
Yeah.
Even if it's one or two or three people, you have to do it. And it has to be personally yours and create it that way. And that's the only way that there's a chance that anybody else is going to like it. Because if you're sacrificing any truth or authenticity from the rip, you're dead in the water, right? Mm-hmm. And so just trying to let Jason breathe through this as much as he wants to. It's a pretty easy way to keep yourself on track, dude. I mean, some of the feedback I've gotten from people who've seen it is like, maybe it kind of feels like if you're not a Jason Molina fan, you might not enjoy this film. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do about that?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't find your way in, it's like, I'll let you in.
Yeah.
Like, no one keeping you out, but like, if you don't have so what?
I mean, if you weren't a fan of Wilco, then the excellent documentary "I Am Trying to Break Your Heart" probably doesn't grab you. And that's an incredible film.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think also one of the things that comes out in I'm almost positive this scene's in the trailer and stuff in the opening of the film is. I think it seems like a lot of people in Jason's orbit didn't realize how widespread his love and support was. I mean, you flashed maybe I'm giving something away. I won't give this away. There's a moment that I won't give away in the film that made me think of this.
Mime it so the mic doesn't pick it up.
Which is so many people have covered his music. I mean, there's this whole this series of covers that the whole album
Okay,
that's
you're
coming
talking about
out.
the Glenn Hansard album.
Well, that too,
Yeah.
but I mean, which I have a copy of right by your right butt cheek. But like MJ Linderman, who's
Oh yeah.
that cover is so good,
so
and
good.
you can clearly tell he's been influenced by Molina. But I think his influence, maybe it seems like, and the love that he had from so many people might have been like either hidden from y'all who were in his orbit, or maybe you didn't recognize the breadth of it. Is that something that revealed itself during the making of the film for you, or were you already aware?
Ask me that again. Was I really already aware of?
Yeah, were you aware of just like how broad his influence is? How many people like myself are here in Orlando, Florida, obsessed with his music, with artwork all over the place.
So it would happen in the weirdest ways. So in 2000, so the last I saw Jay was April of 2002, and then Jenny, who's in the film, knew Jason from the age of 3. We got married, and then saw Jason at the grog shop, the old grog shop in Cleveland, and then in May of 2002, we went to Zambia in the Peace Corps together. And so you're in another country, we're completely by ourselves, but there's my closest friend Toby was, I think, a 16-mile bike ride away. So friends would they would rip CDs and send everybody music, right? So then when we got together, hopefully somebody had enough batteries, or your solar battery charger was working. And I think it was Didn't It Rain? I hadn't heard Didn't It Rain? That's probably about right, isn't it? 2002?
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and my dude Toby's like, dude, you gotta listen to this. I'm like, man, that sounds like Jason. And Jenny's like, that sounds like Jason. He's like, it's Jason Molina. And we're like, yeah, we went to school with him. He's like, get the fuck out. You know what I mean? That happens so often. So that was all throughout. Even if I didn't know that song, or I wasn't super familiar with that album, or I wasn't pursuing every song that ever dropped.
Yeah.
I knew his voice.
Yeah.
It's unmistakably him.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, I was definitely aware of it, but I'm glad this came back, because I wanted to say this so badly earlier. Like from 1998 to 2003, my knowledge of him was in the direction that time flows. And from 2013, or maybe even to the present, it's in the reverse, right? So there's this like last hug, last handshake, last conversation. Time moved forward to that point. And then I discovered almost everything otherwise through experiences like someone else playing his music, and then just simply recognizing his voice. But like reading Riding with the Ghost, that was that stuff had happened long before.
Yeah.
I don't think Aaron's book came out till 2017. So I think it was 4 or 5 years after, and then I didn't even read it until maybe 2020. Right?
Yeah.
So that's a look in the rearview mirror. That's not a here and now experience. It's like reading a history book about your homie.
That's so wild.
Weird, bro.
That is a wild thing.
And things that you didn't know a thing about.
Yeah.
But I was definitely aware of it. But so many people at home are like, oh yeah, Jason, he's a musician. Heard he made some records.
Yeah.
Good for that kid.
Yeah, that's so wild. It's so wild. All right, so now how are you? Film hasn't premiered yet, but we're right around the corner, right?
Yeah, April 16th.
Okay, so we're recording this on March 27th. So right around the corner is the premiere. How are you feeling right now about the whole thing?
I don't have time for feelings.
This is a podcast, Tommy.
Yeah.
That's where you take time for feelings.
We're like wherever stoked is on the meter, like it's beyond
cool.
beyond stoked.
Cool.
Some of these festivals I submitted to in September or October of last year. So you've got to somehow stay calm, detach, and mama bird got to knock the baby bird out of the tree, and either it's going to fly or it's going to splat.
I mean, you've been doing press for like the interview I listened to last night. That was like September of last year.
September. I don't even know if I'd submitted to festivals at that point in time.
Yeah.
But that was magic too, man.
Yeah. The Redacted blog, right?
Is
what it's called.
Piper and Shelby, they're great.
Yeah,
And
check them out, y'all. They did a great job with that.
They're out in LA, and I spent most of the winter in San Diego with Christy and my uncle Mickey, and we did a screening out in Vista, California, and so like Piper and Shelby drove down like 2.5 hours and sat in a small group. I think 18 or 20 of us. That was a wild story too. So my younger cousin, Christy's daughter, was doing a School of Rock rehearsal for a show. Mm-hmm. And Christy was like asking if we could put flyers up. Meanwhile, I'm just like slapping you fuckers figuring out flyers all over the place. And I get a call the next day, and guy's like, "Are you the guy that put flyers up all over my bar?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Dude, I'm the biggest Jason Molina fan. And,
cool.
And then like next to him in the car, you can hear like, "I'm his brother and I am too." Like, what do we have to do? And then we put a screening together, and it was cool.
Oh, how cool, man. I'm glad it's all coming together like that. I mean, again, we keep talking about community. There does seem to be something else going on there, something mystic happening.
Dude, undoubtedly so. And that's not my shtick.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm not a supernatural enthusiast, but Jason's got a hand in this film. I'm pretty sure he's okay. Not only is he okay with it, I think he's encouraging it. There have been too many times. You like you mentioned imposter syndrome before. Like, this was early on. I think we had just shot. This is probably 2022. Like, we had just shot, maybe even just my test interview or something like that. And I was like, "Dude, what are you doing? Like, who do you think you are? You have next to no experience in this, aside from being like familiar with Adobe products and taking one film editing class in 1999 at Santa Barbara City College for kicks, you know?"
Yeah.
And this is no shit, bro. Totally overcast night. And there's a full moon just like glowing. You can't even see the moon. It's just like this glow in the sky. And I'm like, bro, got my hands up in there. I'm like, if you don't want me to do this, you got to let me know. Like, I'll listen to you. Just tell me. Give me a nudge in the yes or no direction. And the clouds parted over the moon, and the moon's halo filled this like circle in the sky. I was like,
wow.
All right, I guess I got to go back to work. It just kept going.
Yeah.
And I mean, but time and time again, not long after that, similar thing where like now, but actually I think there was enough that we were putting it together and people were like, if they don't know, if they didn't know anything about Jason it's hard to get people to watch what you're working on.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's hard to get somebody to proofread stuff.
Yeah.
And like things weren't going particularly well. And so I grabbed a beer was at my friend LaShawn's house in Savannah, grabbed a beer and a smoke, and I went out on the porch. I'm like, all right, Jay, I need you again, bro. Like, I'm not going to bug you too often, but I need you. Give me something to work with here. And one palm tree across the street started shaking like an earthquake was affecting only that palm tree. And then like 20 black birds come bursting out of this tree. And I was like, All right, bro. I think I got you.
Holy shit.
Followed by an owl.
Oh, wow.
Look, dude.
Yeah.
I can't even talk about it
Holy
without the
shit.
hair standing up.
Goosebumps, yeah.
It's nuts.
That's wild.
I've sat down on hikes where I'm sure has walked with his dad. We got some pretty cool trails in Lorain County actually that didn't used to be like parks, but like you could still walk it. Like our grandfathers and our great uncles would have hunted turtles there to make soup and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And I think actually I caught a video. I made a post out of this on Instagram, and I like sat down and I started talking to him. I'm like, all right, man, I'm just here to chill out. Like, I'm not asking you for anything today. Like, just letting you know I'm thinking about you. Owl lands 6 feet from me on a branch, dude.
Oh, wow.
And just sat there and like we just looked at each other and just sat there quietly, and then I stood up and he flew away.
Wow. Yeah.
And I don't know. It's validating. I don't give a shit if it's real or not. It feels real to me.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, that's
It's
all
like-
that matters. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I think again, just getting back to the mortality thing, I think there are some people that you meet that just feel like mystical motherfuckers, you know?
Right.
And you can't explain it. They seem to be tapped into something that I don't know, and how I don't know that I even need to explore what it is that they're tapped into, other than that they are, and they seem to, and
If they're giving it as a gift, just accept the
Just take
gift.
it. Just take it.
Just take it.
Yeah, especially if it's helping you to make things, right? And and you seem like, I mean, I'm just now meeting you. I've known you for 5 days, but you do seem like if nothing else, that like this has been really good medicine.
Oh, tremendous.
Yeah.
And so as I mentioned, like, I mean, years of depression, dude. And
Yeah.
in a way that like nobody wants to listen to that shit, right? Especially coming from a place like Lorain. It's like everything is like, shut up. Boys don't cry.
Mm-hmm. Rub some dirt on
Toughen up.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah.
And so then you stop talking about it because it just makes you feel worse.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like a bigger piece of shit
Mm-hmm.
than you already feel like. But the upside of that is, you know, I've been low enough times that as I started getting better, I started looking at it as like, I'm already dead.
Mm.
What can happen to me now?
Mm.
I'm invincible. I'm already dead.
Oh.
That guy is dead. Now what?
Yeah.
And that was like
Wow.
so liberating.
Wow. That's incredible. Do you have any sense of, I promise I'll eventually wrap this up, but I'm just so interesting. Do you have any sense of, maybe it's too soon to even think about this. Do you have any sense of like the next project?
Oh, there's several in the
Okay.
works already.
All right, cool.
I mean,
All right,
for
all right.
one, I can't wait to get in a space for like maybe just a week and just take paper and markers and just like, because it's such a meditative thing, and just like, but it's gonna be a while before that gets to happen.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. But my cousin Brian Costco, who has a magnificent podcast, Invisible Ground. It's an Ohio history podcast.
Cool.
And he's in Athens, Ohio, also from Lorain. Did an interview with the Spine Writers, Mike, Todd, and Carl, before they had gotten back together to record. And if I remember this correctly, that's the first time that those guys for this film. And if I remember this correctly, they had not been together since 2014 when they put Hello Future Tinglies together. So Jason's playing bass on it, and they never mixed it and released it. And so they did it for, I think it was Music Cares or something like that, got all the proceeds.
Oh,
after
cool.
Jay had passed. They hadn't seen each other in 10 years, almost 9 years. And then they got back in the studio. Then they started playing together and got back in the studio. It's just super cool.
That's
And that's
so
yeah,
cool.
that's the album cover I got to do, and that's the show we put together. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it was that
Sure.
interview was responsible for that, but I'm certain it played a role. And
Yeah.
it's just great to be a part of that
Yeah.
continued story. And our friend Dave Straub is playing bass with them. So they're still a foursome, and they're killing it, dude.
That's awesome.
They're killing it. What was the point?
Projects. Next projects. I got you. This is my job.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
So that interview just didn't fit. Right? So like you got a chance to see some stuff. Everything is like there's a couple cameras, it's one person, it's not a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm interviewing, I'm not on screen, and this is like 4 or 5 cameras, a couple people at a time, they're all at the same table. It just doesn't fit at all.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really fun content in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've already got ideas that we'd have to shoot this, but that can be a film. That could be at least a 60 or 70 minute film.
Very cool.
Yeah. And you know, there's a bunch of others, but I'm just getting started.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm glad you're just getting started, and I'm really grateful we connected, man. This has been such a delight. Yeah, like I'm so glad it worked out that you ended up in Orlando, and you know,
dropping friends off 12 miles
away. Yeah, so cool, man. And you're gonna go hang out with friends later
that don't even know I'm here.
Don't even know you're here.
Just gonna show up at the bar.
That's awesome. Oh man. Well, we usually wrap things up with what you're getting down on. So, you're making stuff. What are you consuming? Like, what art are you consuming?
So I've mentioned this a couple times, and this guy's not paying me to do this, but have you heard the Gnawing at the Cord by Oven?
No. Oh, no, I okay.
Super good.
I read somebody, Stephen Hayden, I think, posted about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super good.
Okay.
Immediately a sense of nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how old he is, but he's probably about like half my age.
Mm-hmm.
But I even wrote a post like there's something like, do you ever listen to Matthew Sweet in the 90s? Like Matthew Sweet's such a good guitarist.
I know who he is,
and
but yeah.
Girlfriend is a great album.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's like they're not the same, but there's like similarities. And like I know that Owen, the band is Oven, Ovven, but I know that Owen is like Neil Young's a big influence, MJ Lenderman's a big influence, and like naturally I find people because Jason Molina is an influence, right?
Yeah, of course.
Just again, back to the community thing through this shit box of social media. Like it can happen. That's how we're here.
Yep.
This is real life.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And it happened from me liking your post or you liking mine and then saying, oh, I'm going to check this guy out. And here we are. Like that can happen.
Yeah.
And if this type of thing didn't occasionally occur, I couldn't put that amount of time and energy into wanting to see another number tick next to a heart.
Buddy, it's I tell you what, I credit my friend Jordan Foley, my dear friend and collaborator Jordan Foley, my brother. Like he embraces social media, and I was ready, like especially right after the 2024 election, I was ready to quit entirely. Yeah. I was like, I can't do this. Yeah. Like shit's gonna get real bad. Yeah. And I was right. And like I'm like I can't do this. And he had a kind of a tough conversation with me about it, and because we collaborate, you know, we make stuff together, and so if I'm not out there also helping promote, you know, we had kind of I really appreciated him challenging me on it. Yeah. And I've come to a pretty good place where two things. One, I think that I'm very intentional about my algorithm. Exactly. Like very intentional, right? Blocking
you're
things. You're
responsible for your own thoughts.
Yeah.
And you're responsible for your own algorithm.
Yeah.
So like, stop stopping and looking and reading all the shit.
Yeah.
And go find some new music.
I tell people all the time, people complain about Twitter, and look, I get it. I mean, Elon Musk is a Nazi. I understand, but so is Mark Zuckerberg. So if you're on Instagram and Threads and you're not on Twitter, like what are we doing here, right? I hear you. You're correct, but also, come on. But if I showed you my Twitter feed right now, it would be Cincinnati Reds baseball, Jacksonville Jaguars football, 4 music posts, right? Yeah. Another Reds post, some random ass baseball account. There wouldn't be one thing about Trump or DeSantis or Nazis or anything.
And they'll sneak in there, and you just gotta get rid of it as quickly as possible.
Just I'm gonna mute that, or I've muted the word DeSantis, I've muted the word Trump, buddy. It will change your fucking life to do that. Right. And if I need to know what those fuckers are up to, I just go to the paper. Right. You know, I just click on the New York Times or whatever I need to do, and And when I made that decision, to just go like, I'm going to use it for connection. And man, it has been awesome. The thing that we're building here, we've built now at this point, the Be Original open mic that I host the first Wednesday of every month here a block over from here. The community we've built, like now my feed on my Jason Earl music page is just other people uplifting each other.
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like somebody re-sharing somebody else's new song. Somebody, saying, hey, go check out my buddy.
Right.
And all these, like half these people we've all met through the open mic.
Yeah.
And so when I go to that feed, it's all just people's art. And we're just supporting each other and lifting each other up.
Yeah.
So.
Do you know Hello June? Do you know the band Hello June?
I know the name.
Charleston, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Like I feel I've never met Sarah, but like we're friends. And I'm hoping that she plays in Huntington, West Virginia on May 23rd, Sarah.
Sarah,
Mark
come
your
on.
calendar.
Yeah. Come on, Sarah. That's awesome, man.
And then, so just like quickly, one other, do you listen to any hip hop still?
Yeah. So it's so funny you bring that up because
Yeah.
I'm trying to get, like, I listen to Kendrick. I listen to everything that J. Cole puts out. So I'm trying to find other new artists. So hit me.
I think it's in Minnesota. He's out of Minnesota. Or no, Wisconsin. Minnesota or Wisconsin. You've got to, dude, his videos.
I've seen his video. I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Dude has mad skills.
Yeah.
His beats are incredible. Like he's I think he either just did or is about to do a track with T-Pain, which, by the way, have you heard
cool.
T-Pain's version of War Pigs?
I don't know if
Black
I have.
Sabbath?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Huh.
Will Schaff introduced that to me, and I was like, I was blown away.
That's fun.
So with Prof doing a track or an EP, I'm not sure what it is, but like with T-Pain, they're like, dudes lifting T-Pain up.
Oh, wow.
Like,
That's
I
pretty
think
wild.
it's, I mean, it sure seems like, I don't know if that's true. I've just seen other people say that T-Pain's a badass.
Yeah.
But Prof is hot.
That's great. I know who you're talking about now.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
And he's ripping lyrics off, and you can understand every word.
Yeah.
And he's funny. And the beats are juicy.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Hell
it's so
yeah.
fun.
That's great. Yeah, I was trying to get into I went on a little I went down a Big X the Plug rabbit hole the other day, and most of it I couldn't get into, but they did this, like, I have to do some research on it, but it was like it was an homage, I guess, to NWA, and it's him and a handful of other people, and I'm not sure it totally lands for me.
Right.
But the nostalgia of it,
Right.
And they're trying, and like the respect that they're showing, like I appreciated it for that. I'm gonna give it another chance, but
I don't know if we need gangster rap on that level to make a comeback, but
yeah, no, it's true. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, hip hop has meant so much in the '90s to me, especially, right? In early 2000s, it was such
Redman,
dude.
EPMD, KRS One is still my all-time hands down favorite. Hip hop artist, no question about it. There's just he's the teacher. He's the king.
Yeah. When we were doing mic, I was checking the mic at Be Original before everybody got there. I did a little acapella Redman and Method Man to Rock Wilder.
I think, did De La just put something out?
I don't
De La
know.
Soul it might at least be a single. I saw something. I'm gonna have to find. I think they did, dude. I'm gonna have to hunt that down.
Okay, one of them just passed though, I think. So that might have been like not just like in the last couple years. Yeah. I saw them at Gasper Music Festival, and I can't remember the other guy's name. There's Plug One. He was there, and I had a photo pass, and I got some pretty cool shots of him, and he like commented on it.
Nice.
That was really cool. And then he like sent me a message and was like, "This looks great," or whatever. That's not the word to use. It's something cool. Yeah. Right. What we decided here today. Okay. A, community. B, social media fucking rocks. What's everybody bitching about?
Well, it's look. You hear it over and over again. It's a tool. You can build a house with a hammer.
Yeah.
You can smash something's skull.
Yeah.
Build a house.
Yeah.
Go build a house.
Yeah. Man, Tommy, this has been incredible. Thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude.
Go see the movie.
Me in bluegrass country. May my bones here forever lie. Bury me in bluegrass country. May my soul here forever lie.
Tommy Nickoloff, y'all. Thank you so much, Tommy. Thank all of you for listening. Give Tommy a follow on social so you don't miss updates about you fuckers. Figure it out. I love when I sit down with a guest and we click so much that we leave as buddies. And that's what's happened here. Tommy and I have been in touch since our conversation back a month and some change ago. And he's just a genuinely sweet guy. And I'm so grateful. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you so much. This was so much fun to edit, so much fun to get out to y'all. MarinadePodcast.com for all things The Marinade. Follow us on all the socials. I've been kind of quiet on socials. Just my day job, as most of you know, is as a teacher. And it's been wild, y'all. It is very, very tough to be a teacher in Florida these days. So I've been preoccupied with trying to keep my head above water there. But good news is, as you're listening to this, in 1 week I will have 2 months off. And I'm excited for it. We are headed back to Bonnaroo to cover Bonnaroo. Make sure you're following us on all the socials, y'all. And also make sure you subscribe on your podcast app so that you don't miss any updates from my Grounded Summer Tour, my 4th annual Grounded Summer Tour. I'm going to cut it a little bit short just because of gas and all that kind of stuff. Things would be expensive right now. But I'm still going to be on the road for a couple of weeks, taking Bucket Boy with me. Our first real road trip adventure together since I got him last July. So I can't wait, y'all. I'm very excited. Thank you so much for supporting this thing. Thank you to our Patreon patrons, patreon.com/Marinade Podcast. If you want to support the show, you can Venmo or PayPal us. I could use some gas money, y'all. It's just at the Marinade on Venmo and PayPal. And all the money goes right into creating. I've got so many projects that have just been sitting on the back burner because of my day job. And now I'm going to get them out to you. I've got this episode. I've got a really special crossover episode with Ben Montgomery and Wayne Fugate of Records Revisited, where we talked with Ron Pope about our favorite protest songs. We caught up with him in person at Tuffy's Music Box in Sanford, Florida. Y'all, just so many cool things on the way. Liam St. John, I had a wonderful conversation with him. That episode is on the way. And then I'm recording some really cool stuff coming up. So make sure that you are following us on all the socials. Make sure you're subscribed on your podcast app so you don't miss anything. Patreon, if you can swing it, we'd really appreciate it. I'm ramping up my preparation for the release of my debut EP, my record of original tunes. Everything is almost done. We just have a few more steps to go through. And then we'll set a release date. And I'm so grateful to everybody who has contributed to that. It ain't cheap, y'all. Making a record ain't cheap. So thank you, everybody who has supported. Again, Venmo or PayPal at the Marinade, or join that Patreon. And on Patreon, you get Patreon exclusive content. Like, I've been releasing the album song by song on the Patreon. So there's actually one for free right now. If you want to go to patreon.com/Marinade Podcast, you can hear my song Brenton Butler. The unmastered version of Brenton Butler is there for free. So you don't even have to commit to anything. You just click on it and listen. And you're actually hearing a part of the EP in this episode. That is the unmastered version of my song Adair County. Thank you for supporting this thing. I am so fired up to make stuff, y'all. I'm grateful that I have, as difficult as it is to be a teacher, I'm so grateful that I have the time that I have during the summer to make things, because there's just so much that I want to share. it's coming, y'all. I got 2 months to bring it to you. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following. Until next time, go out and create something. Cheers, y'all.